We have now found the answer to the original question, but it will be good to do some more practice questions on this technique because there is some gems and some information still to reveal about this technique. So we're starting with that function. They're giving us f of x is equal to x times by ln of x squared. And like in the past question, or the original question, they're asking us to find a value in the first derivative. Now you'll immediately notice that again, this is x times by ln of x squared, as the same as the original question, but, and this is important, we don't have a shortcut or a one-step method to find the derivative of ln of x squared. We know that the derivative of ln of x is equal to 1 over x. That we have already discovered, but there's no shortcut method for the ln of x squared. And in order to get there, to see how we are going to find it, as it is clear from the start that the product rule is also being used, we will take a look at a couple of different approaches to this question. So firstly, we look at this from a logarithmic point of view. We know that ln of x is equal to log e of x. So if we look at the log laws, it means then that the ln of x squared is the log of e x squared. And the third logarithmic law that we looked at right at the beginning says we can bring that 2 to the front. And it becomes 2 log ex. And then that log ex can again be written as just 2 ln of x, and the ln of x then becomes, or the derivative of ln of x is just 1 over x, and it becomes 2 times by 1 over x, which is just 2 over x. So that is the derivative of ln of x squared is 2 over x. Now, you may see a pattern there, but don't stick too much into that, or don't see too much in that pattern, because the x squared could be any function or in x, not just x squared. So you can think maybe if it was x to the power of 3, then the derivative would be 3 over x, and you would be right, but it's not always going to be that simple of a function. So let's look at other ways of finding the derivative of ln of x squared as well, using straightforward techniques that we have done before. And let's just dig our heels into that. So looking at the chain rule, we've got ln of x squared, and then we say, let's make the x squared a new function u, so u is equal to x squared, and then because of the chain rule, we find the derivative of u of x squared, which just becomes 2x, standard sum rule, and then we also find the derivative of ln, which is 1 over u, and then just replace that back into the u, the original value of u, which was x squared, and we multiply them according to the rules of the chain rule. So it becomes 1 over x squared, which is 1 over u, times by the 2x, which is the derivative of x squared or u, and then you get 2x over x squared, and one of the x's will cancel with 1 at the bottom, and we get the same answer. 2 over x, which is what we got there as well, 2 over x as the derivative. Now there is indeed another way, using the chain rule, that we can find a general solution. This is important. Like I said, it's not always going to be x squared. It could be any function in x there or in the ln. And if you have to use the chain rule, like we've just done, it's fine. But let's take a look at a different way in which you can remember. This is the important word there. You can remember this as something to use every time without having to go through the whole process as we've done there using the chain rule. So instead of writing x squared as the question dictated, we consider it a function. So we've got the ln of a function. Now according to the chain rule, we will then get the derivative of that function multiplied with the derivative of ln, which is 1 over f of x, and if you multiply it, you get that. The derivative of whatever it is that they give you, whatever that function is that they give you next to the ln, you find the derivative of that function and you divide it with the original function as they gave it, and then you've got the first derivative of that whole function without having to go through all the processes and steps of the chain rule. So which means if we test this with the ln of x squared, we can say the derivative of x squared is 2, and the derivative of that ln of something, ln of x, in this case ln of x squared, is going to be the 2 divided by the original function, which was the x squared. So we've got the 2x and the x squared, where again the x's will cancel. and we've got 2 over x, which is exactly the same as the previous answer. So when we use the product rule on that function, now that we've got the derivative of the ln of x squared, we can then look at it again from 2 points of view. By looking at the ln as a logarithmic function, we can bring the 2 to the front, or just immediately to the whole front, which then gives us that 2x ln x. The 2 is a constant number, so we leave that outside. That's where the square brackets come in. We just leave it outside. It becomes x ln x, and then using the product rule on x ln x, you get the derivative 1 times ln x plus x times by 1 over x, which simplifies, and you are left with that 2 times by ln of x plus 1. Now if we look at the right hand side, where we dig our heels in straight to the product rule, remember we have found the first derivative of ln of x squared, so just using the product rule, there's the derivative of that times by the original function, then the original function in x times by the derivative that we have found a couple of times before, and it comes down to ln of x squared plus 2. So that is then the derivative of that part of it. And the same will happen if you bring that 2 in, because you remember having 2 ln x there, just that part, if you multiply the 2 in, you're going to have 2 ln x, but because of the third log law, that 2 will go into the exponent, which is where that 1 comes from. And then obviously that 2 will be multiplied with the 1, and that's where that 2 comes from. Alright, so it's exactly the same answer, depending on whether you use the logarithmic side and the product rule, or just the product rule from the get-go. Just remember, this whole discussion we had before is if you use the product rule from the get-go, you will need to find the derivative of that second function, which is that part over there with the x squared. That's why we had this whole discussion of how to find that derivative as well, and a general rule that you can remember, which is that one over there. So you have to just put all of this into perspective. Where do they fit in with each other so that you can do this on your own? When faced with a question like this in an exam paper, you can actually figure it out as you go along, because hopefully you'll see that the logic is solid. It does create a bit of confusion with all the different rules and all the triggers and everything else, but if you understand how everything really ties in, and it's no real things, outliers here, or points sticking out, it is actually very beautiful and all fits nicely into a package of rules and techniques. Nothing else. You just need to find the logic. So then to come back to the original question, to find the first derivative in 1, we can then just replace that x there with 1, or that x there with 1, and we get the following: 2 ln 1 plus 1 and ln 1 squared plus 1. Now to know what ln 1 is, we can go back to the logarithmic form. We can say e to the power of x is equal to 1. Anything to the power of 0 is 1, so it has to be a 0 on the right hand side. So then that part there becomes 0, and that part there will also become 0, because 1 squared is still just 1. And it becomes 0 plus 1 in this side times by 2, or then just 0 plus 2 that side. But we get exactly the same final answer, 2 and 2. Depending on which of the techniques you use, you still get exactly the same final answer.